up, my fellow creepers and things that go bumping tonight? Welcome back to yet another episode of Creature of the Night. I am your host, Toxin, your friendly neighborhood center. You should know what to do by now. Hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell to let you know every time I upload so you can keep up to date with me. Like everybody's fear, growing old, man. But you know, once you're there, you're there. Once you hit that certain point, and I think after that, it's a whole new fear. Being, you know, the way you're going to pass, being locked in a nursing home. This one took it to the max. And I'm speaking, of course, of the Manor.
When you open them again, whatever you saw or heard will be gone.
Now, the Manor. So we are introduced to this this woman. She's growing older. She's I believe, is it Alzheimer's? It might be Alzheimer's, a form of dementia, but she's already whittling down. She's already past her prime. She's already it's already to that point where like it's just a matter of time before you pass on. And her family is kind of left no choice but to put her in a nursing home. They are unable to care for her. Actually, it's kind of mixed up because we don't know. The daughter, it gives off that vibe where we don't really know if it's she can't take care of her or she just won't take care of her. Just you could tell there's tension between her and her daughter, but she gets along great with her grandson. So obviously her grandson's against it. Like, we can do this. She helped us out when we needed it, and how are we repaying her this way? By when she needs our help, we're just kind of locking her away. So it's already like family drama going on. But as she's kind of forced into this nursing home. It's not a normal nursing home right off the back. They have codes on the door. I understand that's probably necessary with people who have dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever. Like they could just wander off. But like from the get-go, we're kind of just showing that these people are like warning her like not to stay, that she's next and stuff like that. But that could be all chalked up to what's going on in their head. What's real and what's not. But she, it's her being an ex ballerina. That was her passion. She loved it, and that's how she met her husband. When him passing, that just didn't really help the process either of what was going on. But she meets up with these three people who are just kind of full of life. Actually, even though they are older, they just have a smile on their face and they live it like it's their last moment. Like, that's how we all should be. We should live it like every day like it's our last day. You just never know. So that's how, obviously she's drawn to it, the energy, the positivity. But right away, these three people, they're just kind of off. Again, it just goes with the whole situation. Like, her roommate is very weird. Like, she's very, I wouldn't want to call her a Bible thumper because she's older, but she's like, she's a strong Christian. She has the Bible and the cross, the crucifix next to her bed. She's just like, it looks like she's always scared of something that is going on, that something that may happen. And her first night already, the curtain is pulled back around her bed, and she's hearing her roommate like kind of like not struggle, because she does have like, she's kind of like vocally impaired to where she cannot speak because of the old age and whatever symptoms she got going on in her head. But she hears her struggling. She hears her like kind of like trying to cry out, but not really cry out. And as she's, it's one of those nights where it's, lightning is outside. It lights up the room, and she sees something is in there, in the curtain behind her with her roommate. So she goes in and tries to look and sees something. It looks like it's some kind of creature, but it looks like it has things growing out of its back, like it's part of something, and it just broke off and like it's taking its own form. And calling for the help, like, oh, it's just your medication, there's nothing here, it's fine, it was just a nightmare. Again, just trying to play everything off like it's not a big fucking deal, whatever. That's another thing about nursing homes and the sane asylums that scared the shit out of me. Once you're in, you're kind of in, and then everything you do could be chalked up to just your condition. It's just in your head, and then you're never allowed to leave. It does become a prison in some sort, not just of the mind, but physically too. You just can't leave these places, especially finding out that something's going on. You cannot just fucking leave. Like, what the hell? That shit scares the fuck out of me. So if I get to that point where you gotta lock me in a nursing home, you could just off my ass really fucking quick. Took a left turn there. But anyway, so this continues going on, and what we notice is like as this keeps going on, her roommate is losing more and more of her, let's just say, life force. Like she's becoming weaker, she's losing it. Like she's scared of like a cat. Again, with like supernatural stuff, they always say cats and dogs like no. Cats know when people are about to die, so they kind of have this cat roaming in the house, and whoever it's attracted to is like, oh, that's the person that's next in line. And her roommate has the cat jump on her, she just freaks out because she knows the end. The end is near. And when I'm saying it's like the last bit of courage, strength, whatever you want to call it, like the last fight that she has left in her body. She gets out of bed. Again, this is a woman who's confined to a wheelchair the entire time. She gets out of bed and wakes up the main star and like, yo, you're next. You've been marked. Like, it's coming for you. And then, boom, she just dies. She hits the floor. That's it. And like the last thing she leaves her with is just look for it. Look for it. Like, what are you talking about? Look for it. Like, it. Again, they just chalk it up to natural death. Like, what the hell? Like, what does that mean? And she hands her a piece of paper, and she looks at it, and it's just different names and dates, and it just says, like, it's just crossed out. To come to find out, like, these are people who have died and when they have died. So she's like, okay, what am I supposed to look for? She starts tearing up the roommate's bed, looking for it, and there's a little bag underneath the mattress. And if you are, like, into witchcraft, or, you just like researching this shit like I do, it's a hex bag. Somebody put a curse on her, and like that can be the only reason why this thing was coming after her, every night. And now she's worried because literally her name, after this woman had died, it's her name next. That's on the list. So that's when she looks under her bed, and boom, there's another hex bag. And then literally later that night, she's visited by something. Okay, the orderlies are tired of it. They confine her to a bed, and all we see is when they finally strap her down, it comes back, and things grow out of its face, and it starts, it attaches it to her face, and that's it. Boom. She just wakes up. She's out of her restraints. That's it. She just feels a little bit weaker. She's a little bit more tired. She's kind of losing it. She's starting to see her already deceased husband everywhere playing the piano. She's like doing stuff without even realizing she's doing it. Like, I was like, okay, so what is happening? Like, is it the disease, or is it this creature that has something to do with it? What the hell's going on? She tries to escape because she reaches out to her grandson. She's like, hey, he's like, hey, I got the code. He writes it on her arm. She tries to escape, and she sees these, because again, it's a manor. It's a rich house. There's a lot of ground. She sees these three young people walking away from some bonfire, having a good time, and she makes her escape through a hole that is in the fence. And she calls her family to like, hey, I'm at this diner. Y'all need to come talk to me. She's trying to explain her story, but this is already after the doctors got the hooks into him. Like, it's just her head, the medication. We need to increase her medication. She needs to start taking this medication now. And they're just totally trying to isolate this woman and just do her dirty, basically. That's what it just seems like. Even to the point where her grandson, her best friend, doesn't believe her. Like, and as she's in the diner, she sees this picture on the wall. And we don't get to see the picture, but she sees it. And they're like, oh my God, it kind of makes sense at this point. Like, what do you mean? What the hell does that mean? And as she's coming back from the bathroom, the daughter called the orderlies, and they just take her back to the house. Like, no, like, you have to stay there. It's for your own good. And now they changed the code. She's locked away again. Like, what the fuck? And she's visited by the creature again, and that's when it takes just, like, whatever the hell it's taking from her, it takes just a little bit more. And that's when, she tries to reach out for her grandson one more time. And like, hey, just look at the picture in the diner. Look at the picture in the diner. But now, because the grandson wants to be a good son to the mom and be fair, she's like, okay, maybe it is all in your head. Like, maybe you need to calm down. Maybe you do need to be here. Like, and everything's gonna be okay. Okay, now she's just lost. Now she's alone. And then later on in that day, after the grandson leaves, she gets visited by the cat. Boom, the sign that she's about to go. Like, it's like, oh shit. Like, okay, this is it. Like, it's her fucking time now. Thank God the grandson, just having that small belief, even going against his mom's wishes. He goes back to the diner to go look at whatever picture she wants to see. and boom, she sees the three friends that his grandmother had made, and literally it says for some reason it says the time and day and the year of when that picture was taken, and it was 40 years ago. Like, what? Like, they look the same. Like, what the hell? How are they, first of all, how are they still alive? Like, they look still the same. They still like they still are full of life, and they all have this kind of sigil or this marking on their arm, and we come to find out it's Celtic. It's like the, I forget which god they reference, but it's like basically they're in this cult where they are living forever, and that's how all these people are dying. They're just draining the life force from these people. So the young kids that the woman saw trying to escape were actually them in their youthful state. And it's crazy because it does only happen between the witching hour, between like 3 and 4. They return back to their youthful selves. So now knowing this, her and her grandson are a team. They're gonna go and try to stop this. She finds something in one of the people's room where it has her hair. She finds the brush that she was missing. She replaces it with another piece of hair that belongs to the guy, and of course that guy walks in and they hide underneath the bed, and they see him kind of walk out of the room, but not through the front door where he came in, and they don't know where he's at. He's crawling down the wall to the bonfire to do another spell. Like, it's insane, like the powers and the shit that this thing can grant. And as they're summoning the beast, they try to stop it, and of course, them being supernatural and being powered by their youth and whatever the hell else, they're super strength. They are able to overpower the grandson and the grandmother, and he summons the beast to come and take the last bit of life force so they can keep on living. Just another victim, perfect plan. The fucking people who have one foot in the grave, and then we're just gonna, take them all, take the last bit of it for ourselves so we just can keep on living. And that's when we find out that each of the orderlies are actually related to each individual. So I was kind of confused about that part. I didn't understand if they stay useful too, or is it just the older people and they're just kind of there until like they get of age and they need to start doing it as well. That part was kind of unclear to me. But as they're summoning the creature, it comes out of the tree because it's made of the tree. No eyes, just all these branches growing out of his back. It looks fucking wicked dope. And he casts the last spells, throws the hair into the fire, and like, okay, take the last bit, like, we're ready. And as it's sniffing the girl that he wants her to drain, the creature backs up and sniffs the person who cast the spell and drains his life force, and that was it. Oh shit, like, and now she was about to set fire to where this creature came from. They're like, no, the last two ladies are no, like, we want to keep on living, and they offer, it's like basically the deal with the devil. Like, you can do it too. Like, become part of us. Like, you're different. You have a different way of thinking. Like, you know what it was like to have everything stripped away from you. You're no longer able to do your ballet, your dancing that you love so much, and the thing that connects you still to your husband. Like, do it. You will stay useful forever, and you never, and your grandson never has to lose the one person on this world that he loves, because he's already lost his dad, so he doesn't have nothing. He doesn't get along with his mom, clearly. So are you gonna leave your grandson here? And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like iffy, like, what the fuck, like, what would you do in that situation? Leave a comment below. Like, would you take, knowing that you're taking other people's life, would you still do it? Would you want to keep on living even though at the cost of whatever the hell the cost is? Or would you just, fuck it, I'm gonna burn the tree, and when I pass, I pass? It's up in the air. Everybody's different. I expect to see different answers in the comments below. But they take the deal, and then that's when the sigil becomes burned on them. And now they are part of this clan. They are part of this group now. And as time is going on, like, they celebrate the birthday again, and she's still 70 years old. Like, even the daughter's like, wait a minute, I think that time is wrong. Like, oh, no, doesn't pay no attention to mine. Like, it's okay, like, everything's under control. And then later that night, we see the old woman revert back to her beautiful, useful self, and she's dancing for her grandson, the orderlies, and the other people that are in the clan. She's dancing, giving, like, the best performance of her life, and then boom, it ends. Guys, this one had, like, mixed emotions. I was very close to my grandmother, and so, like, yeah, given the chance, would I have probably taken it? I probably would have, just because I wouldn't want my grandmother to pass away. My grandmother, on the other hand, probably wouldn't. She would have just like burned the tree and then moved on and passed away with because she lived her life, whatever. But again, it just depends on what kind of person you are or what. Again, desire is a crazy thing. It just depends on the person. That's all I can say. But it does get 2 thumbs up for me. 10 out of 10. This is another film I believe I saw on Amazon Prime. Go check that out. Let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know what you thought about the movie once you check it out and what you got from it. A lot of mixed emotions, guys. It did for sure tug on the heartstring because of the grandmother situation and losing, having that opportunity. If they were here today, of course I would love it, but of course, both my grandmothers, may they rest in peace. They have the best seat in the house for these videos, but who knows? Asking different people in my family, who knows what answers I would get. Asking you and all your families, maybe I'll get a different answer as well. Who knows? But let me know, guys. And again, I am Toxin, your friendly neighborhood sinner. And always remember, if you're not sinning, you're not having fun, guys. Beware the moon.